Hello and welcome to my channel, The Boating Photographer. My name's Neil, and as you can see I'm on a narrowboat. This is Narrowboat Avalon, and has this trip been a dream cruise or has it been a nightmare? Stay tuned and find out.
A chapter in my life was about to end, all packed into boxes, and it's amazing how much stuff you accumulate over the years, but everything packed up and my life sorted out, ready for my next chapter. I was prepared for the unknown. Reflecting on the good times and the not so good times, there was lots and lots of memories that I was leaving behind in this house. There were feelings inside me I was finding very difficult to describe. Anticipation, trepidation, nerves, all sorts of feelings. I certainly could not sleep that night. All those memories and emotions that I am leaving behind one last time.
Got an absolutely beautiful sunrise coming up behind. So day one was at Gator Marina on the Grand Union Canal, and I picked up my brand new boat, Narrowboat Avalon, and I was so excited and also really nervous because I'd never driven or steered a narrowboat before, so I had lots and lots to learn. My parents were there to send me off, and I did request the guidance of one of the guys at Gator, and I thank Gator Marina and all the staff because they were absolutely fantastic. They helped me out and set me underway. The first thing I had to do was fill up and manoeuvre out of the marina. But I did okay, I didn't bump or anything, I did alright, and that actually built up my confidence immediately and got me set ready for my big adventure.
Moored up in a beautiful rural location, I could not ask for a better location to start, ready for my adventure the next day. And of course, no adventure starts without a proper cup of tea. Even though it had been a hot and sticky night, I could describe the conditions the next day as perfect, absolutely beautiful for cruising. This heron certainly wasn't shy, and he was giving me lots of encouragement.
I woke up early, excited, full of anticipation, full of nervousness as well, ready to take on the Northampton Arm of locks. Now, I said to myself, I'm only going to do 13 today because there was a nice gap between lock 12 and lock 13, and just by the M1 motorway. Not the most ideal and tranquil of countryside settings, but I thought actually that's a good place to stop and rest up. And thank goodness I did, because I was absolutely shattered after doing that flight. I was aching in places on my body I didn't think I could ache. This is my first time steering a narrowboat. Well, technically my second time, because I took Avalon out of Gayton Marina yesterday, Gayton Marina in Northamptonshire. So this is my first time now going down the Grand Union Canal, the Northampton Arm. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. I think I'm going to have beautiful weather today, so I'm really looking forward to the weather. "16 locks or 17 locks. I can't remember, but a lot of locks today. It's going to take me all day. I'm not going to be rushing at all. I'm just going to be taking my time. It's the first time on a narrowboat. Can't believe how excited I was to be doing this, and I've been thinking and dreaming about this moment for a long time. I've so missed boating, and I feel like I'm back where I belong.
Lock number 1 at the top of the flight was absolutely no problem at all. But then lock number 2, and I got stuck. Not in the walls of the lock, but in the gates. Narrowboat Avalon has these beautiful thick marine ropes that act as fenders running all the way down the sides of the boat. The problem is they get stuck in the locks, because the locks on the Northampton flight are particularly narrow, especially lock number 2. I had to drape them over the roof.
So Monday started off really well. I got up early again and I tackled lock 13, and then I went through the next pound, a really long pound. It must have been about a mile long to the next lock, lock 13, 14? Yes, 14, lock 14. On tick over because of all the weed, so I had to reverse sometimes, reverse thrust, and clear the weed off of my prop and clear the weed off of my rudder as well. So that was exciting again, and I did the first pound okay, and then the second pound again, more weed, but then problems started. I cleared lock 14 and then the battery light come on. Right, what was it? What was the problem? Was it weed? No, it was my alternator, and the screws had worked loose and the alternator had slipped and my belt had slipped off, so my battery light was on. I didn't know that at the time, so there was me thinking I'm going to have to go down into the weed hatch and have a look at my prop, which was the first thing I did, and then the battery light stayed on. So I panicked, I have to say. I really panicked. I was like, oh no, what's happened? So, but I did notice the alternator, it was the bolt actually, the bolt was rattling, and that pointed me in the direction of the alternator. So that was my first big problem.
The weather was reflecting how I was feeling. I wasn't going anywhere. I tied up and decided to call RCR, and they patched me up and I managed to make my way into Northampton town centre. RCR is River Canal Rescue, a bit like the AA.
So I ended my day in Northampton town centre, and I was absolutely shattered. I was exhausted, but we had rain and thunder and torrential downpours to tackle then. And my shoes, I left them out and they got absolutely soaking wet. What I had to do was actually walk up in my shoes, in soggy socks and wet shoes, to go to town to replace my socks and replace my shoes, because I only packed basically for these few days to get through the Northampton Arm. Not very prepared. So finally, after shaky nuts and squelchy shoes, I was well on my way again. I was on the Wild Nen.
It was nice to see familiar places and familiar names, and I felt a sense of getting closer and closer to my mooring.
So 2 locks down and my nuts were shaking again. I could hear that distinct rattle under the engine hood, and I just had to stop at the next lock. So I stopped and I put a plea out to the River Nen discussion group, which is a local Facebook group for the River Nen, which is absolutely brilliant, and the community really did come together and support me. I really want to say a big shout out and a huge thank you to Justin, who towed me from one of the locks over to the Environment Agency lock, and there I actually met 2 really nice chaps from, I think it was Warrington, and they're going back up to Warrington on their narrowboats, and we triple moored up, and they had all the nuts and the locks and everything that I needed to get back to my marina. So huge thank you to John and Abe the cat, and that's what the boating community is all about, and that is what I have now become part of. It's what I wanted to become part of. I wanted to become part of that whole community. So it was absolutely fantastic, and thank you for patching me up, guys.
So I spent the night hunkered up and triple moored in the Northampton washlands. Quite a bleak place, but interesting nonetheless.
I know it's nothing new, but it's so good to see you.
The next morning I was on my way again.
We do this every day, and I'm still so amazed by you.
And this was absolutely brilliant. I absolutely enjoyed it. I was on the Nen, I was on my favourite river. It was just like coming home. I was absolutely elated. I just could not believe that feeling of I'm back, I'm here on the Nen. And it's the river that I love. It's the river that I adore, I explore. It's the river that I have a huge passion for, and I was so glad to be back.
And the River Nen certainly was not holding back. The atmosphere was majestic, and the sunlight was just golden with the mist rising. This was the River Nen that I know and love.
You love me.
The next morning's cruise was absolutely brilliant. It was the cruise that I dreamed of. It was the cruise that got my confidence back again. I just abled along really slowly through 5 locks. Beautiful weather, beautiful sunshine. All the wildlife was out. It was just absolutely fantastic. Everything was going my way, and I managed to make it to my marina. So I was really absolutely thrilled. That was the cruise that I really wanted to give me that encouragement again. But just like any adventure, yeah, it had a really good beginning, and then there was a bit of a dicey middle, and then it had a fantastic ending. So that's my adventure. That's my narrowboat adventure.
So lucky,
I have learned so much about Narrowboat Avalon. So I am really pleased that I got back to the marina, but I'm also very pleased that actually I've had this learning curve and I've been able to pick up lots of tips and tricks and lots of knowledge and lots of advice from everybody that I met all along the way. So it was a fantastic journey. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've liked the drama, and I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's a little bit different. I didn't do any photography now. The reason why is because I was concentrating and focused so much on the narrowboat.
I finally made it to my mooring and just could not wait to go exploring the Nen Valley again. I love this place, and it really does have a special place in my heart.
It's nothing new, but it's so good to see you.
So as always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Become a friend of my channel, become an early riser, and hit that notification bell for when I upload brand new videos. So until next time, thank you very much for sticking with me, everybody, and thank you for your support and all your kind words and your comments, and meeting you along the waterways as well is absolutely brilliant. So take care of yourselves, and until next time, I'll see you again soon. Bye.